recording on this other platform. All right, perfect. Welcome to another simulation here. In this simulation, we're gonna try to go over 4-hour momentum candles here because we had some queries about like people who don't have really time to trade the high volume sessions, and most guys they can only trade like the Asian session, and most times the Asian session when it ranges. Um, then you're forced to look at the 4-hour time frame, the daily time frame, and you kind of want to know where the 4-hour candle can push in the pre-London and London session. So that's something we're gonna go over. Let's drop us some dates over here. What do we need? We need random date generator. All right. So we get a total of 10 dates over here. I'm gonna start from 2019, somewhere in like August, and we're gonna go all the way towards 2020 December. Let's do like 29th December. We're gonna only start with Sundays. Actually, you know what? Let me change this. Let me change this mouse over here. Yeah, let me change this mouse over here. Go over here. Oh, no. I want to go back. Go over here. Pointers. I want my normal mouse back. How do I do that? One sec here, guys. Oh, use default. Okay, my bad. All right, perfect. We're gonna choose this, and then we're gonna go to this. Let's increase the size a little bit. Put it in black. I guess white is okay. All right, perfect. So we got this. Now we're gonna choose Sundays only. We're gonna get our dates over here. Perfect. So we got our dates. Let's go with, we got some November, December. Let's go with June, 21st June 2020. Sounds good? Yeah, sounds good. Let's go with June 2020. 21st June. Let's go over here, new simulation. Let's choose pound yen. June 21st June, pound yen. We're gonna start with let's start with 5,000. Yeah, let's start with 5,000. Oh, 50,000. No, no, no. We need 5,000 here. 0, 0. It's going to be near close. Leverage, we're going to go with 500 leverage. Past history on charts is going to be 150 days. Just got to make sure everything's recording. Okay, start simulation. Perfect. So in this, I think we should be focusing on more on the weekly and the daily. Let's take a look here. Bring the 4-hour, bring the 1-hour, and bring the 30-minute. So we're not going to focus on the 15-minute because we're only going to focus on the high time frames here, the 4-hour, 1-hour, and the 30-minute. Actually, let's just bring on 15-minute here as well. Just make it feel good. So bring 15-minute, 30-minute, 1-hour, this, and weekly. Perfect. So first of all, we need our naked time frames over here. We're going to go towards our naked time frame, go towards daily, get our naked time frame, go towards the 4-hour, go towards the 1-hour over here, 30-minute, and we're going to get our 15-minute right over here. Perfect. So this is the Asian session starting over here, right? If we look at where the price is at this point, we can see that we're basically coming down over in the weekly time frame. We're not sure whether the first thing we can see on the weekly is that the previous weekly candle closed with no wick at the bottom. So when the candle is closing with no wick at the bottom, this basically means there's a 50-50 chance that the next candle can go up or down because there's no range over here, right? So let's get this stuff here out of the way. Let's take a look on the daily time frame here. Daily candle is also in the same scenario here. So let me just bring my tools down first. I think it's the line studies and it's the charts. All right, perfect. So looking at the daily, seems like daily is coming down to some sort of a support area. This is where it closed, and we don't know whether the next daily candle is going to start moving up or it's going to start moving down. So let's take a look on the 4 hour over here. Right, looking at the 4 hour, what we can see is that we also have this support forming at this point. We have a support forming at this point, right? Price also gapped down a little bit. And now if we think that price is going to continue dropping below this area, then we have enough, we have like a 66, 60, like 66, 67 pip range for price to continue down all the way to this vicinity right over here. Right, and these are just zones we're drawing based on the market structure we have right now. And what we're going to do after this is, let me just scale fix this. And what we're going to do after this is we're going to slowly move into pre-London, and then we're going to try to see where we can anticipate the 4 hour candles to go at that point. So we got our resistance right up over here as well. Now looking down at the 1 hour time frame, we're going to kind of like zoom in a little bit more over here. Maybe scale fix this as well. All right, perfect. So 1 hour time frame is basically, it's just not doing anything right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on towards pre-London, and from pre-London we're going to start to visualize where we can expect the 4 hour candles to go. So let's go towards the 1 hour and let's start moving forward. This is Asian Open 7, 8, 9. All right, perfect. So this is around 2 a.m. Eastern. So let's take a look on the weekly time frame. Weekly time frame is wherever it is. Daily candle is trying to reject this area to possibly continue moving bullish. Let's take a look on the 4 hour time frame. Looking on the 4 hour, we have rejected that support down here at the bottom, right? So if we zoom in, we can see that, okay, there was a little bit of a rejection. Now, the question is whether this 4 hour candle right here, will it continue moving down, or will there be some sort of rejection from down over here for price to continue moving up? So that's something that we need to look at right over here, because at the same time we have this resistance up here at the top, so we're not sure whether this is just creating a bottom wick to continue going all the way up. So if we look on the higher time frame, the daily time frame, we can see that previously price rejected the support at what time? This was at the 28th May, and price is rejecting this area once again. So what's the probability we're going to start rejecting again? So if we look at the 4 hour time frame, and if we think price is creating a bottom wick to continue moving up, what do we need in this case? Right, we need a support to be formed on the smaller time frames, like on the 1 hour time frame, or maybe on the 30-minute time frame. We want some sort of a support to be formed. So the first thing I see is that there was some sort of a resistance formed at this point, and from this point we kind of like consolidated, and then we continued to move down. And when price started to move up again, we can see that we had a bigger candle, big volume. We had another candle, which means big volume, and then we had some sort of a smaller candle here, and then we had a bigger one right over here. So this means this area is some sort of a rejection area at this point. So let's take a look on the 30-minute time frame here. And if we really want 4 hour candle to continue moving bullish, we want to see some sort of a support formed in this area for price to continue moving up, right? And the target that we're looking for on the 4 hour time frame is going to be at this area right over here, 132,970, which is like 60, 70 pips away, right? So what we're anticipating is the volume in the London session to continue price moving up to this point. So let's take a look on the 1 hour time frame. Let's take a look on the 30-minute time frame. So all we need is some sort of confirmation on a 30-minute time frame, so we can have some sort of stop loss, and then we can just expect price to move up. So let's just wait and see if we create a support in this area or not. And then we're only going to focus on the 4 hour time frame, because the whole idea is that you're executing on the 4 hour and then you're letting the rest position run without even looking at that. So that's something we're going to try to do over here. Let's speed it up here a little bit. So price is coming down. That's totally fine. We're only focused on the 4 hour time frame at this point. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, 1 hour still open. Also, we have this support formed in this area right over here. Now, the beauty of this price action is that close below, if we close below this area over here, then there's a very high possibility we can continue moving down. But if we reject this area, then there's a higher possibility we can continue moving up. So that's something we're looking at right now. So we're about to get some closes on the 15-minute time frame and on the 30-minute time frame, right? This 15-minute candle is about to close in about 10 minutes. And we're going to see if this confirmation is going to be enough to execute this trade on the 4-hour time frame. All right, so the 15-minute candle has closed with a little bit of a rejection here. We're looking at the 30-minute candle. The 30-minute candle is still open, but it hasn't really quite rejected this area yet because it's still open. 1-hour candle is still rejecting that area. So if we're going to take this trade based on the smaller time frame, we expect this candle to break the high over here and then expect the entire 4-hour candle to continue moving bullish, right? So when you're trading based on the high time frame, there's a bit of visualization involved, right? And that whole visualization goes from that, are we going to get this candle to flip bullish from smaller time frame confirmations here or not, right? So that's something that we're going to wait for right over here. So as the 15-minute candle starts breaking the previous candle's high, I think that's going to be enough confirmation for price to continue moving bullish. So we're going to see what happens over here. We got about 8 minutes left for the 15-minute candle to close. Around 6 minutes left. And looks like we're going to be getting a bullish close at this point. We have about 2 minutes left. All right, perfect. So looking at the 30-minute time frame, the 30-minute candle closed bullish, weak bullish, I know, but looking at the 1-hour time frame, 1 hour is now slowly coming back up, because if we can see candle rejecting 132 area down over here, that means that there's a probability for the 1-hour candle to reject this area again, and we're getting confirmations on the 15-minute time frame. And looking at the 4-hour at this point, it does seem like we came down to a really, really strong support, and once we're rejecting it, I think we should continue to move up at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put let's say, so we're going to use percentage, right? So we're going to use a 2% risk over here. Our stop is going to be below this wick here, which is like, 20 pips away. So we're going to put our stops 20 pips away, and our target is going to be, I think it should be around 60. We'll put it at 64, 62, right? We're going to put it at 62 right over here. We're going to take a buy position. So you can see here, the stop is kept below the wick of the 4-hour time frame, the candle, because we're expecting price to keep rejecting this area. Because if we're going to take this sort of like a session swing trade, we're not looking to keep an eye on the price, because we're walking away. We're only noticing the 1 hour and the 4 hour, because sometimes we have jobs and we're busy and this and that. So that's something we're gonna let it play out here and see what happens. Same strategy, just high time frame trades. Yes, it's the same strategy, just based on the high time frame. So yeah, look, it's just 7 minutes past right here. We're still respecting the low at this point. We're playing this off of the 1 hour time frame, the 4 hour time frame. So we see we're starting to move up over here. As it starts to break its own high over there, I think that's going to be a pretty good idea to maybe secure some positions and leave the rest running. How would you have managed the trade if it went against you? Well, if it went against us, then we would have just gotten stopped out, right? Because whenever you're doing a swing trade, your targets are bigger than your stop losses. So as we're coming up to this area, so the whole visualization is that we're expecting the 4 hour candle to continue bullish up to this area right over here. So now if price comes down to our entry point, that's going to be the point where we should be securing, like, let's say 50% at that time. So if you look at the time here, this is the 1 hour candle. The previous 1 hour candle closed bullish, and now we're expecting this 1 hour candle to not break the low right over here and to continue moving bullish. That's what we're expecting over here. So we're still about 15 minutes in. Let's take a look on the 30-minute time frame. The 30-minute candle is creating that structure to continue up. So now if this is the London session, we're expecting volume to continue price moving up through this area right over here, especially when the previous 30-minute candle has closed bullish at that point. So we're expecting volume to push price through this area. So as we're coming up over here, this is the point where I think it's going to be a good idea to close partials. Let's close like 80%, and then we can leave the rest running with stops at break even. On the high time frame, do you risk reward and play support resistance levels? Yes. You don't try and take a certain amount of pips like on the 30-minute time frame? No. Because we're playing this off of the 4-hour time frame, and if you see right over here, it's moving just like we expected here. And if you look on the market structure, right? So we're approaching our target there slowly. I think this is going to be another point to close some more partials here. Let's close 50% more and let the rest running. Probably not going to trail the stop because the 1-hour candle is still open at this point. And once this trade ends, we're going to go over the market structure off of the smaller time frames and see that, like, how it really made sense over here. So this is only taking trades based on the 4-hour time frame at this point. We're moving. We're about to reach our target at this point. Let's speed it up here a little bit. This London Open candle is about to close. And once it closes, I think we're going to be reaching target over here. So we still have some volume. Let's take a look at the news. There's no news over here. Perfect. Let's speed it up a little bit more. So let's while this is running, let's take a look on the 1-hour time frame right over here, right? So looking at the 1-hour time frame and looking at the 30-minute time frame, we can see how, okay, so we hit take profit right there. Awesome, right? So let's backtrack this trade and let's see what happened here. So we took an entry down over here, right? And the reason for the entry was we waited for rejection of this minor zones over here, right? We had a candle coming bearish. This candle closed bullish. So when this candle closed bullish on the 30-minute, right, this was a rejection right over here. And if we saw that, okay, we were bouncing off of a stronger level on the daily time frame here as well, so it made sense for the bias to be a little bit of bullish, right? And the main confirmation for bias was that we had the previous 4-hour candle closing bullish over here. This one was bearish, so we visualized this to go bullish. And now when you look at the 30-minute, we can see the 30-minute candle closes bullish at this point. And when the candles are closing bullish, we have clean ranges here on the 4-hour especially. We have volume, and that volume pushed the 30-minute up more, and we can see right over here how this candle closed bearish here, but still it had no wick at the bottom. Well, little to no wick at the bottom, right? But the momentum on the high time frame was enough to push price up to this zone right over here. And after this now, I mean, we can't do anything at this point because, price has reached this level. So the only thing we want to see if we're going to break above this area and continue moving up or not. That's going to be our next target at this point. That can we break above this area to continue moving up to fill this range up there or not? So that's something we're going to focus on at this point now. So we can see we're just coming down over here now, rejecting. Would you show the daily time frame again, please? Yes. So the daily is rejecting this area, trying to continue to move up. That's what it's doing at this point. So this is pre-New York right now. So if you look at the time, right, this is pre-New York right now. And in pre-New York, what's happening is we're coming up, we're creating a high at this point, and after we're creating a high, it seems like we're coming down to create like some sort of a support. This is also the start of the new 4-hour candle. Right? So if we start creating a support over here, there's a very high probability we can continue moving up to retest this high. And I mean, if there's volume in the market, we can maybe break above this area to continue moving further up as well. Probably to like 133, let's see here. Yeah, 133, like 800 would be a good target at this point. you know, because we got clean traffic hit at this area, and the only thing we need to see is we need this high to be broken right over here. So let's look at the 30-minute time frame, 30-minute time frame right over here. See, now the 30-minute candles are still closing bullish at this point, so this may be a good indication for price to continue moving up over here. Let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame, 30-minute time frame, 1 hour time frame, 4-hour time frame, but we don't have any confirmations that we're going to break above this zone or not, right? That's the only issue at this point. So we're going to wait for this candle to close. This 1 hour candle has closed at this point. Let's take a look on the 1 hour candle. Let's take a look on the 30-minute candle, right? Now, when we're looking at the 30-minute candle right over here, and if we see that our stop is around 28 pips, and this range is around, you know, like 1-to-1 risk reward, and if you look on the 1 hour time frame, and if we now take a look at the 1 hour, now this is where, so whenever you're trying to swing trade, you need a little bit of a visualization, right? And a little bit of a like a strong confidence on what you think is going to happen, because when we're swing trading, some people have like this bad habit of looking at the 30-minute time frame and looking at the 15-minute time frame. Someone sent a very long text over here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to read it during this. Actually, I'm going to try, but please try not sending long text messages, because you know we have people watching here. And just regarding Reddit, are you waiting for the 1 hour to close before the wick, for example, yesterday? Okay, we can't talk about what happened yesterday. We can only talk about what's going on right now. So we're only going to focus on right over here. If there is bearish close, we can anticipate the retest of the low. Okay, guys, let's just keep our questions to ourselves and let's continue on with this simulation, right? Because I'm trying to keep it as open-ended as possible. So looking at this 1 hour time frame, we're only focusing on what's happening over here, right? And we're only trying to visualize where we can anticipate price to go. So what we're seeing right now is price is making a high at this point. We're coming down over here and we're creating a support on the 1 hour time frame, right? What's the probability that the next 1 hour candle is going to continue moving up to this point and then it can continue moving higher towards 133? Right? What's the probability with that? I would say there's a high probability that if we don't break the low over here, we can continue moving up over here, irrespective of how big the stop loss is, right? Irrespective of how big the stop loss is. Because if we are bouncing from a daily support down over here, we bounced here before and price continued to move up. So what we're saying is, what's the probability that we're going to continue moving up to at least come towards this sort of like a retest area for price to continue moving down back again? That's the only thing we're looking at this point. So looking at the 1 hour time frame, I think we can have a stop below this area around like, you know, like 30 pips. So we're going to do it like 30 pips down there. TP is probably, we're going to aim for this area 450. I'm not going to put the TP in right now because, you know, if price comes over there, we're going to leave a runner running to see if we can continue moving up or not. So we're going to take a buy position and we're going to let it run. Also, this 4 hour candle is about to come to a close here as well. Oh, looks like we're trying to come down over here. Now, taking a look on the 30-minute time frame, if this 30-minute candle breaks the low of the previous 30-minute candle, then that's where we're closing a percentage of our position right there. See? So now we're managing our risk at this point. So we're closing 50% and we're letting the rest run because we want to manage our risk here. Because if you look on the 1 hour time frame, 1 hour time frame is still respecting the low over here. Now, this is going to be some, maybe it's going to be a situation where we can possibly add a position, but we're going to see what happens. Because look, the 1 hour, the 4 hour candle closed bearish here. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, we already secured position here, right? So whenever you're closing partial positions, you're not cutting the entire trade short, because once you've closed 50% of the position, this means that you still believe that price is going to continue moving where you want it to go. So it makes no sense to close the entire position after you've already closed partial positions, right? So this is why I'm not closing the entire position here. I'm just closing partials. And if this candle starts breaking the low of the previous candle, then I can close more partial positions, right? So then my stop loss, the amount that we plan to lose in the beginning, that amount becomes really, really low at that point. And then, like, you know, we're still in this trade to see if we're going to continue moving to our target up over there or not. So we're breaking the low at this point. Probably going to close another 50% right here and let the rest run. Let's take a look on the 30-minute time frame. 30-minute is whatever. Keeping our focus on the 1 hour time frame and keeping our focus on the overall 4 hour time frame right over here, which is kind of like ranging at this point. But since we took this trade, we're committed to this trade, we're not closing the whole thing unless the whole thing hits stop loss. So now if you look at the 1 hour time frame at this point, this is 10 a.m. right now, right? We're moving towards London close. So when you're looking at the 4 hour time frames, you're not concerned with the session timings, right? Because notice we didn't mention New York Open, we didn't mention NYC Open, because these high volume times are just speed bumps as price continues to move, right? So we're keeping our focus only on the 4 hour time frames and only how candles are moving. So if we look right here, this 1 hour candle closes bullish, and we're only anticipating price to continue up to this level over here. And if we come over here, I think that's going to be a idea to maybe secure positions and leave the rest running. So I think as we move towards 133, we're looking at the time over here too. And this is supposed to be some sort of a volume time here because, you know, there's London Open, and London Open has a bunch of volume at this time. So since we're approaching this resistance right here, we're going to close partials. Actually, we're going to close 80% over here, and then we're going to leave the rest of the position running. So this was only taken based off of the 4 hour. You know, we kept the stops there. We secured positions, right? We closed partial positions in lots. Okay, so looking at this 4 hour candle, as it's breaking the high over here, you know, now there's a very high probability we're going to continue moving up. And then we can say, okay, like, you know what, the previous 4 hour candle becomes a booby trap candle. This is also London close volume. And yeah, I guess it should at least come up to fill this wick over here as we move into the afternoon in the New York session. So these trades are only taken based on the 4 hour time frame and the 1 hour time frame, right? Yeah, I mean, if it hits it, if hits it. If not, then, you know, we already have our stops at break even at this point. So slowly we're going to move into the Asian session over here, and then we're going to see what happens there. All right, let's speed it up here a little bit. Let's move on towards the Asian session. We're going to fast forward it. And oh, okay, the TP was hit at this point. All right, so we took 2 trades, right? This one was a little bit of a, like, you know, it was harder to play out. So our first idea was that, okay, 1 hour candle closed bullish, and we anticipated the next candle to continue moving up to fill this range, right? As this was forming, we kept an eye on the 30-minute time frame, and as the 30-minute candle broke the low over here, so now notice we didn't look at the 15-minute time frame. Normally, when we're trading based on a 1 hour and 30-minute, we're managing trades based on a 15-minute, sometimes on a 5-minute. But here, since we're taking trades based on the 4 hour and 1 hour, we're managing trade on the 30-minute, right? So 30-minute broke the low over here, boom, closed partial positions at that point, right? Because the stop was down over here. And then we looked at the 1 hour time frame. 1 hour candle closed bearish, and when the next 1 hour candle broke the low over here, boom, close another partial position at that point and left the entire position running because it made no sense to close the whole position once we've already closed partials, right? And then we let the rest candles run. We close bullish, and take profit hit, right? So when you're taking trades based off InterSession 4 hour candles, which means when the 4 hour candles move from session to session, you're letting the entire candle play out, right? You're not getting antsy about positions or targets and this and that. You're letting the whole position play out. So slowly we're moving into the Asian session at this point, and as we move in, we're going to try to see that if we can really continue up to this point here or not. So let's speed it up here a little bit. Let's go towards Asian Open. So this is 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Right? So okay. So I guess we missed it. Yeah, I guess we missed it. I think this was the yeah, this was the confirmation down over here for price to continue moving bullish. This was the confirmation. I think we missed it. See, now at this point it can move up, but we missed our first chance right down over there. So it's okay. Let's move on towards closer to London Open at this point, right? So we're going to move closer to London Open. Oh, wow. What happened in this Asian session over here? Price dipped down 700 pips. Okay, so this is 2 a.m. Eastern, right? This is 1 hour before the London Open. And if you look at the daily time frame, we have one daily candle which is bullish. This is the new daily candle forming at this point, and we don't know whether this new daily candle is going to continue moving up to do a retest to continue down, or whether it's going to continue moving down all of a sudden. So we're going to consult the 4 hour time frame, and looking at the 4 hour candle, what we can see is that we had strong bullish candle, which means really high volume. We had more bullish candle, stronger, high volume, and then we had a small body candle right over here. Let me just mute everyone here. So we're gonna mute everybody. All right. And then we had a small body candle, which means low volume. And now this new 4 hour candle is forming, but we don't know where this 4 hour candle is gonna go, right? So at this point, what we need to do is, yeah, I guess we need to wait for this 4 hour candle, or especially like, for the 1 hour candle to do something, because at this point, what we can see is that the 1 hour time frame is coming down to some sort of a support area. And we don't know whether we're going to break below the support or we're going to reject it to continue moving up, right? We don't know that. Since we're trading based off of higher time frames, do we need to check news? Yeah, maybe. I mean, we don't have much news happening here. I mean, we have some pound flash PPIs, and they're looking at. See, when we're trading high time frames, news events, they're like speed bumps in the market. Those news events, they will just provide volume to the overall high time frame. But it's good to be aware of the news, right? So at this point, we don't know if we're going to break the support or we will create support to continue moving up. We don't know that. So we're just going to wait for price to kind of like form over here and see what we can do. So this is the 1 hour time frame. Let's take a look on the 30-minute time frame. 30 minutes also at the same support area. So we're going to draw the support. Yeah, see now we have this rejection area on the top and this 4 hour candle still open. So we don't know how this candle is going to close. We got the 30-minute close. Now, since the 30-minute is closed, there's not enough range for price to go up. We have like about 17, 18 pip range to go up. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, I think if we are moving up, we don't have that enough range. We have this resistance up over here, which will get pretty tricky as price starts to continue up over here. And this candle is also about to close, so we'll have to wait and see what happens here. Especially since we have this 4 hour candle which is coming up to a resistance. So we can't really take a buy over here, right? Because our stop is going to be 37, 35 pips and our TP is like, it's not worth it. Even if we got this wick over here, which is like 20 pips away. So I don't think that's enough risk reward. We got the London Open coming right now. This is the London Open. If we expect price to continue moving up, it's like 20 pips away. Stop is like around 32 pips, which is too big, right? I mean, risk reward is off at this point. So we'll have to wait. So especially looking at the 30-minute candle at this point here as well, we can see how we have this resistance at this point over here. Even though it's breaking, I'll be willing to miss out on this move since like, our risk reward wasn't that good at that point. So we're going to see what happens. So we're going to see if we will reject from this or what's going to happen. Because if we start rejecting, rejection is going to be pretty good. Because see how something happened with my voice over here. See how previously price came down to the support area. We rejected it once, we rejected it again, we rejected it, and then finally we broke down. So if we rejected it previously 1, 2, 3 times, what's the probability we're going to start rejecting it here again? And I think the only way we can see that rejection is going to be based off of the smaller time frames, right? Based off of the 1 hour time frame or even on the 30-minute time frame. So we're going to wait for this candle to close over here on the 30-minute time frame and see what's going to happen. Because if we're rejecting based off of the 4 hour time frame, then we should see a 4 hour bearish candle forming, right? So let's just see how this candle closes over here. And there we go. We got the candle closing at this point. looking at the 4-hour candle. 4-hour candle is at this as at the zone over here. Looking at the 30-minute, 30-minute has closed a weak bullish candle, right? Now, the previous candle was a strong bullish candle, which meant there's a lot of volume, but our next candle is a weak bullish candle, right? A weak bullish candle means there's not enough volume in the previous candle to continue price pushing in the new candle over here, right? Which is also the 4 a.m. at this time over here. So if we think that the 4-hour time frame is going to reject this area, which is also sort of like a daily rejection area at this point, we want something to close bearish on the 1-hour time frame or in the 30-minute time frame, so we can confidently say, okay, like, you know what, maybe 4-hour candles are going to reject and we may continue down in this 90 pip range. So that's all we want to see. We want to see a candle to close bearish so we can take a sell and anticipate the 4-hour candle to continue bearish. So far it's pushing up. We still have candles open at this point. The 30-minute candle is also open. It's pushing up over there. So we're just gonna wait over here now. Candle's about to close. Candle closed bearish, but it didn't close in a way which will give us confirmation that price is going to go down, because it closed with a small body over here at this point. So we're still waiting for the 1-hour candle to kind of break the low, or the 4-hour candle to reject this area and whatnot. So I guess maybe a good idea could be, like, if this new 30-minute candle breaks the low over here, probably we can anticipate a trade at that point or not, but we'll see it. Okay, perfect. So we're breaking the low at this point, right? If you look on the 1-hour time frame, 1-hour candle is also breaking its own low at this point. And now when we look on the 4-hour time frame, 4-hour candle is rejecting from up over here, right? And this is where, now this is somewhat where some visualization goes in context here, right? So if we're saying that the 4-hour candle is rejecting this area and the total target is down over here around 132,960, and if we're saying that, okay, on the 30-minute candle, so here's the thing, right? Whenever you're expecting a higher time frame candle to reject or to flip in the opposite way, you're anticipating those flips to first happen on the smaller time frames, right? And that's what we're seeing on the 30-minute time frame over here, because we have this resistance right over here. We had this bullish candle. It had zero volume here. I mean, low volume to continue moving up. And then we had this bearish candle close, right? This maybe, like, give us some sort of a confirmation that, okay, we might be rejecting. And then this new 30-minute candle, it's breaking the low over here. It's respecting the high over here, right? So when we have a downtrend, we have candles make lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And this is what's happening on this 30-minute candle at this point too. So I think if we can use some sort of a visualization and then maybe put our stops, above the 30-minute candle, so then I think there's a probability we can continue moving down. So let's measure this, right? This is around 24 pips. So we're going to put our stops at around 25 pips, risking 2%. And we're going to take a sell, looking at the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so we can manage risk too, right? And the way we can manage risk is if there is a candle closing bullish on the 15-minute time frame, or even on a 30-minute, we can manage risk, and basically we can have a good day. So, oh, where's this TP over here? We want to remove our take profit right over here. Okay. All right, perfect. So we're going to let this play out. Keeping our eyes on the 1-hour time frame, keeping our eyes on the 30-minute time frame, because we don't want this 30-minute candle to close bullish, right? Because if this 30-minute candle closes bullish, then we would be closing 50% of our position and leaving the rest of the position running. So yeah, we're going to keep this moving at this point over here. So we're moving around. Let's take a look on the 4-hour time frame. This 1-hour candle is about to close. We're closing bearish over here. Our stop was what? Our stop was 25 pips. So unless we don't get to 1-to-1, we're not putting stops at break even, because this is based off of the higher time frame at this point. So you can see how the 4-hour candle had bigger candles at this point, bigger candle, smaller candle, big wicks. Small candle, big wicks means low volume and a lot of volatility, right? That means it's not sure where it wants to go. Now, when we look at the next candle also had big wicks and small body. This means there's a higher chance of a rejection and low volume to continue pushing bullish, right? Really important concept. And looking at the 1 hour time frame, 1 hour time frame has candle has closed bearish at a rejection area. Looking at the 30-minute, we've also closed bearish. So now if we look at it logically, there's a very high probability, even though if we don't break the support, there's a very high probability we can continue down to this low over here, right? Especially when we're moving in a high volume time frame at this point. So we're at 34 pips over here. So we're at 1-to-1, right? So this is where we're going to close around 70%, and then we're going to leave the rest running with stops at break even. So the 4-hour candle is also closed. It's still open at this point. So yeah, I mean, if we continue down over here in this area, I think that's going to be a very good idea. Looking at the 30-minute time frame, the 30-minute candles are still bearish. We're creating these lower highs and lower lows. We're breaking this low at this point. Looking at the 1-hour time frame, it's about to close. 1-hour candle has closed, so probably we're going to modify and bring a stop above the 1-hour candle over here. And that's it, because we're at support over here and we don't know whether we will break the support or not. We don't know that unless we break it, right? So we're going to keep an eye on the support, because if we break the support, then there's a very high probability we can continue moving down to fill this range at 132.750. So see, the 30-minute candle is rejecting over here. We're creating supports at this point as well. So, I mean, if we break this, then I think we can add another position. Okay, perfect. Look at this. Look what's happening at this point, right? We're at this area and we don't know whether we're going to break this yet. But I do think there's a very high probability we can break it and continue moving bearish. Was there any second entry over here? Probably not, because this 30-minute candle is still open. 6% in 2 days. Yeah, it's only based off the higher time frame, the 4-hour time frame. So see here, okay, let me just go back to the previous 30-minute candle right over here. The reason why, we didn't want to take a sell over here, because this is the 30-minute candle which is breaking support. If it's breaking support, we don't know whether it's going to close below support or whether it's going to close above support. We don't know that. So that's why we didn't take any impulse entry at this point, even though it broke the low of the previous candle. So now here's the thing, right? Even if it broke the low of the previous candle, it's not going to continue breaking support, because support is already 10 pips away. So we can't take a trade at that point. So that's why we were waiting for this candle to kind of like close. See, it's breaking support. Awesome. Now we want it to close, right? And we don't know whether it's going to close below support or it's going to close above support. So that's why we're waiting. We're looking at the time over here too. The 30-minute candle has closed and we can see how it closed, right? It closed above support. So yet again, we don't know whether it's going to close below or above support, right? And now we're making this minor resistance here. We still have a runner running. Our position is in profits at this point. And yeah, so we're moving into NY open at this point now. So price is ranging. Looking at the 1-hour time frame, we're rejecting this area. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out, because we already got our trade coming down for about 30-40 pips. So yeah, this 4-hour candle is about to close here as well. If it closes bearish, I think there's a high probability it can continue moving bearish in this instance over here. So we're going to wait to see how this 4-hour candle is going to close, and then we're going to see if we can try to take another trade here or not. Right, so look, we're coming down into the support over here, and this candle is going to close pretty soon. What's this? So this would require 27 trade management? No, this will not require 27 trade management. This will only require the trade management based on the time you're trading, right? If you're trading on the if you're trading between London and New York session, you're looking at London and New York session. If you're trading between Asian and London session, then you're focusing on Asian and London session. So we took 2 trades over here. We managed it from pre-London, right? We managed it from pre-London, moving into pre-New York. So that's what we're doing. So you're taking a trade and you're just letting it play out. When I'm talking about taking another entry at this point, I'm taking that entry based on the fact that, okay, if we are looking at the market, can we enter another position at that point or not? So looking at the 1-hour time frame, I guess we are breaking below the lows over here. we can probably trail our stop loss at this point, maybe down over here above the 1 hour candle. And if we're moving in high volume time at this point, what's the probability that the next 1 hour candle is going to continue moving bearish or not? What's the probability on that? I think there's a very high probability that the next 1 hour candle can go bearish without looking at the 30-minute or without looking at the 15-minute. Because we're only if we're only focused on the 4-hour time frame, we can confidently look at the 4-hour time frame and say, well, yeah, there's a high probability it can come down to fill this wick over here, and then maybe with volume we can break the support and come down to fill this wick at, like, 132, 720, wherever that is. So what I'm going to do is probably going to remove this older zone and just point at this wick down over here, because this is now clean range we have, right? Let's clone this over to the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, we have this clean range down over here. So stop is going to be around 34 pips, and we're targeting around, like 47, 46 pips at this point. So 34, targeting around 47. Since this is a second trade, so we're going to lower our risk. We're going to go with 0.5%. 0.5%. We're going to take a sell, and we're going to let it run over here. And we're only focused on the 1 hour time frame to break these lows. Now, based on this, if we get a candle closing bullish on, let's say, the 30-minute time frame, then we're managing our risk at that point, right? But we're only focused on the 1 hour time frame. We're expecting price to move down. We're in high volume time at this point. And I mean, if we do continue moving bearish, I think it's going to, oh, nice. This is running straight down over here. So probably going to close one position at 86 pips over there and close partials over here at around 80% and leave the rest running at break even. So this is like a 0.5 risk at this point. We filled the wick. Oh, wow. We went further down over there. Raj is going to be trading swing trades. I did last year. Last year, I did a lot of swing trades overnight from London moving into New York, and they played out really, really, really well. And I wanted to see if we can simulate that here for, like, some people who do swing trades here or not. So 4R came down with volume, and I guess that's a pretty good move over here. So let's move on towards the Asian session, and we're going to address some situations that people face as, like, we go into move into the Asian session at this point. All right, perfect. So here we are. We have candles closing here. Let's take a look on the weekly time frame. Weekly is basically, seems like it's kind of like rejecting at this point whatever it's trying to do. Looking at the daily time frame, daily candle has closed like a weak bullish candle. We don't know whether the next candle is going to go up or down. Looking on the 4-hour time frame, when you guys post those incredible $4,000 to $5,000 earnings with one lot, it just happens for them to leave the positions running? Yes, because we all know how hard it is to get a 100 pip. Yeah, 100 pip move, it doesn't happen every day. Maybe happens once a week, maybe once a week, maybe twice in 2 weeks, 3 times in 2 weeks, but not all the time. On gold these days, gold has a lot of volume, so that moves a lot. Like on Friday we had a 100 pip 30-minute candle, man. So sometimes it does happen. So looking at this situation here, what we can see clearly is that we're creating a support on the 4-hour time frame right here, because look, this candle went bearish. This candle closed like a doji candle after this huge rejection, and this candle is now closing bullish, right? Now, what's the probability that the next 4-hour candle can continue up to fill this range? What's the probability? I guess it's a pretty high probability at this point, because we have a candle closing bullish, we have a high being made, so there's a higher probability for price. I mean, just visually looking at it, there's a higher probability for price to continue moving up, right? And there's a low probability for price to break this area and continue moving down. So let's take a look on the 1-hour time frame. The 1-hour candles are closing like a small volume doji candles. 30-minute candles also ranging. So we're going to take this trade based on the 1-hour time frame. But at the same time, we need some stronger confirmations on the 1-hour time frame, right? Which means we need candles to kind of like break above this area to continue moving up. That's what we need at this point. So yeah, Chokambaya, you are right. There's exactly 92.68% probability. So Chokambaya, you get like a reward. 92.68. All right. Oh wow, this is coming down over here. Okay, so we're going to see whether we will close above or we're going to close below. This is liquidity grab. Yes, this is liquidity grab. How do you put your rectangle option up like that? Which option? This one? From here. Yeah. All right, boys and girls. Oh, you mean the bar? Oh, this bar? You just double click it. You double click, double click. All right. Okay, look at this. So we got the 1 hour candle close. We got the 30-minute candles open at this point. We got the 4-hour candle. Now, looks like the 4-hour candle broke below the low of the previous 4-hour candle. And I think that only happened because of low liquidity, because the time we were moving into, there's no volume at that time. So probably spreads did that. So we're going to wait for this 30-minute candle to close. And this 30-minute candle is going to close soon over here. And I think if it can close, we can get, okay, perfect. The 30-minute candle has closed at this point. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, looking at the 4-hour time frame. So now again, right? This is where we need some sort of a visualization to happen at this point, right? So now we know, or we can suspect, that there's a high probability for the 4-hour candle to continue up. We all can agree with that the 4-hour candle can continue bullish. We're slowly moving into a Asian session volume at this point. So looking at the 1-hour time frame, the 1-hour candle is still open. It's bullish at this point, and it's also breaking above the high of the previous 1-hour candle. But at the same time, we're below this resistance over here, which is the only thing that is stopping us. So looking at the 30-minute time frame, the 30-minute candle has also closed a strong bullish candle during a time when there's volume coming into the market. So keeping these things in mind, right? Can't we think that if the 4-hour candles are going to continue moving bullish on the smaller time frames, we're going to break above these zones, right? Especially when we have somebody who can't look at the charts and he can only take a look at the charts based on the 4-hour time frames. So I think that's going to be a pretty good idea. You see the support resistance bar. How do you put it up there on the left hand side? Because when I use it, I have to press insert, then shapes. Oh, right over here. Okay, so you go to view, you go to toolbars, and then you go to charts and line studies and time frames and this and that. Or you basically, let me just give this tutorial over here. Or you right click these lines over there, you go to customize, and then you'll get this shit right over here. And from here you can basically, do it. All right, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a buy position here, and a stop is going to be below the 30-minute candle or the 1-hour candle right here, which is like around 15 pips, right? Stop is going to be 15 pips, and we're going to target the high of the range right over here at around 133,650. That's going to be a pretty good idea over there, which is like around 28 pips away. It's going to be like 28 pips away, and we're going to use around 1%. Let's use let's use 2%. When you take swing trade, do you take 30-minute confirmation or waiting for only 4-hour candle? We are taking 30-minute confirmation. We are. And so when you're taking swing trades, here's the thing, right? And if people can make a note of this, I'm going to really appreciate this, because over time, when you keep looking at high time frames and low time frames, this next thing I'm about to explain is going to help you out a lot. When you have price rejecting a higher time frame zone on a higher time frame, then price will break the lower time frame resistances. What I mean by that is, if we look on the 4-hour time frame, and if we see that the 4-hour time frame is rejecting a support on the 4-hour time frame, that means there's a likelihood for price to break the lower time frame resistance. Right, so this is the lower time frame resistance right over here, and if the higher time frame is rejecting a zone, that means there's a high probability for price to break the lower time frame zone. Make sense? So that's what we're basically anticipating to happen right over here. All right, so let's take this position over here. We're going to take a buy position, and we're going to anticipate price to continue moving up to this point, and we're only looking at the 4-hour time frame over here. Oh, we got stopped out. Oh, damn. Okay. That's all right. I guess taking one loss is okay, but we still want to see what's going to happen right over here because, like, we're still stuck in this situation. Okay, so there's no volume at this point. There's no volume looking at the 30-minute time frame. The 30-minute candle is still open at this point. This one 30-minute candle is moving. Oh, okay. One candle move. So let's say someone came to the charts and they took a trade. Actually, you know what? What the mistake was? I don't think our stop was well below this candle. Yeah, our stop was inside the candle. Yeah, so that's my bad. It's my bad. But still, like, would it be better with the higher stop loss? Yeah, like our stop was just at this candle. It should have been below this wick right over here. That's where our stop should have been. So that's my bad. It was way too tight. But you can see how it made sense here on the 4-hour time frame to continue moving bullish and breaking the zone right over here. Even though it was a 4-hour time frame, it still kind of like, ranged a bit and then it broke out in the last in the last hour of the 4-hour. So perfect. Took one attempt for the Asian session. For the 4-hour, didn't really work. So now we're going to move on to the pre-London session at this point now. Let's move on towards pre-London. This is going to be okay. So we are at 9. No, not 9. This is at 2 a.m. Eastern. This happens to me as well on my sim sessions. Price just taps the stop loss and then shuts up for me. It's the win because I learned that stop loss has been lower. Yeah, should have had a lower stop loss. It is what it is. All right, so let's take a look on the daily time frame. Daily is still stuck over there in that range. Looking on the 4-hour time frame, 4-hour, man, it's coming down to the support area over here. And we don't know whether we will break below the support or what's going to happen. Let's take a look on news over here. We have any news? We have no news at this point. All right, let's take a look on the 1-hour time frame. So we have the support formed at this point, right? So now we got to do some analysis right over here. So let's take a look on the 30-minute time frame. If something that's caught my eye over here is something that we saw on Friday on gold, right? So if we remember what happened on gold, okay, so let me just bring this up over here. So I don't think if this is important, XAU USD trading view. So we go to trading view. I'm going to open gold over here. Oh, zoom out. Let's take a look over here. Right, and if we look to the 15-minute, let's go towards the 5-minute time frame. And what I'm looking for, okay, right over here, right over here. So if we look at this area right over here, this is what happened on Friday, right? We had retail sales news on gold. So gold was ranging here. We had retail sales news, price moved up, and then price came back down, did a bit of a fake out, and then we had price continue to move further down. This is what happened on gold. So let's close this. And this is something that caught my eye right over here as well, because on pound yen, what basically happened is that price was ranging, price broke above this resistance, and then closed back inside the range, right? So if this was a fake out, does this mean with volume coming into the London session, we will break the support to continue moving down? Does this make sense? There's something, it happened on gold on Friday, and this is the same situation that's happening right over here. It's pretty ironic it's happening at this point, right? Because I didn't plan for this. So looking on the 4-hour time frame over here, we can see that the 4-hour candle is bearish, but we're rejecting support. So I think the only thing we need is for price to break below this area to possibly continue down. And that's something we can anticipate price to move into. So I think we're going to try to see if we can grab some sells if we break below a support for price to continue bearish. Oh, it's moving way too fast. It's moving way too fast. But it's not closing at this point. We want a candle to break below support and then close below support. That's what we want, because this is the time when there's going to be volume in the market. And if we think volume is going to come on, it should either break up or it should break down. So this 30-minute candle is about to close And there we go. 30-minute candle has closed. Now we're anticipating this next candle. So if the next candle breaks the low, I think that's also going to be the break of the low of the 4-hour time frame, right? Because look, this current 4-hour candle, it hasn't really broken the low, or it hasn't even really broken the high of the 4-hour candle. So whichever way it's going to break, it's going to continue moving in that way because, like, we're moving in high volume session at this point. And I think that's going to be a pretty good trade over there once we start breaking those lows. We're slowly coming down. We're slowly moving towards the London session over here as well, the London Open. And we really want to see whether we're going to break above or are we going to break down. See, it's a very delicate situation at this point. Extremely delicate situation. Look at this. Candle also closed bullish over here. There's no buys, there's no sells. We're just ranging at this point. Do we have any news? We don't have any news at this point. So we're just waiting. 4-hour candle is still open. Daily is still open. Obviously, what a nail-biting situation over here. Extremely nail-biting situation. Oh, are we breaking above? Are we breaking the highs over here to continue up? No, we haven't broken the high of the 4-hour here because we're only executing based on the 4-hour. We don't have any confirmation whether we're going to break above the high to continue up or are we going to break the low to continue down. We don't have that information at this point. Okay, so looks like we're trying to break the high and the 1-hour candle just started, but we're also at this rejection point over here. So this becomes extremely, extremely risky at this point because we're at this rejection point over here. So probably going to be a good idea to wait for the 30-minute candle to close or the 15-minute candle to close. 15-minute candle is about to close and we're going to keep an eye on that there. And 3, 2, 1. 15-minute candle has closed. Looking at the 15-minute time frame, it closed with a rejection, right? Because we rejected here, so still nothing over here. Looking at the 1-hour time frame, 1 hour is also rejecting this area because we rejected it before. This is where things get tricky, right? Even though we broke above the high of the 4-hour just a little bit, on the 1-hour time frame, we had rejections on the left-hand side. So we don't know. So without candle closing bullish, we don't know whether we're going to continue breaking this or not because there were rejections here. What's different is when price breaks support is that there are no rejections to the left-hand side. We have clean candles moving down. Over here, we have clean candles moving above this area, which is like 30 pips, right? But moving below this area, we have clean candles moving down towards 54 pips. So that's the difference between buys and sells over here. So we're still waiting at this point. All right, so we're coming down now. Are we going to continue down and break the low to continue further bearish, or what's going to happen? The 30-minute candle is about to close. We have 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left at this point. In 3, 2, 1. 30-minute candle has closed. Looking at the 30-minute candle, 30-minute candle has closed bearish. And wow, man, we're still ranging at this point. So I just want to get this clear, right? We're all clear about the idea that if we're breaking above this resistance, and even though we're breaking above the high of the 4-hour candle, since there is a rejection on the left-hand side, we cannot take a buy because of that rejection. We need a candle to close bullish to give us the confidence that, okay, now we can continue moving up. But in this case over here, if this 30-minute candle breaks the lows, right here, I think then there's a very high probability for price to continue down because we don't have any rejections over here. We have clean candles that moved up, so there's a probability we're going to have clean candles moving down, and that will push the entire 4-hour candle bearish over here. So we got to keep these things in mind. Looking at 30-minute time frame, we broke the low over here. I think this is where we can take an entry over here, put our stops at like 20 pips, and let the rest run. Ideally wanted to take a sell right over here, but I guess we got late, so it is what it is. Looking at the 1-hour time frame, looking at the 4-hour time frame, looking at 30-minute time frame, we're still over here, we're still pretty good. So yeah, this is where I want to take an entry for price to continue down. So this is now, we're letting it play out based off the 1 hour, and we're letting it play out based on the 4-hour time frame at this point for price to continue down, right? We're no longer looking at the 30-minute time frame. We're only looking at the 30-minute once the 30-minute candles close. That's the only reason we're looking at the 30-minute time frames there. So looking at 30-minute candle is about to close. We're closing bearish. Looks like, yeah, so let's just extend this here a little bit because, that's what we're targeting right over here, the bottom of that zone. So 4 hours still open, 1 hour still open. Perfect. We're in a perfect position to continue moving bearish. So looking at the 30-minute time frame, it's all well and good. It's closing bearish. As long as it closes bearish, we're still good to continue moving down. So yeah, we can just chill now, because we're taking the trade off the higher time frame, so we can just relax. Is the stop loss below the 4-hour candle? Is the stop loss below the previous 4-hour candle? No. And now we're going to move our stop loss above the 30-minute candle right over here. See, so now since I'm moving my stop loss, I'm increasing my risk reward. So if you look at this value right over here, right, risk reward, if I increase my stop loss, my risk reward becomes lower, right? So risk reward is subjective. And if I'm decreasing my stop loss, now my risk reward is becoming bigger and bigger, right? So risk reward is all subjective. So now we're anticipating this candle to continue moving bearish over here. Respect the previous 30-minute candle high and really continue driving down in this clean range here to the left-hand side. Oh, wow, nice. Look at that. Coming clean down. Clean candle moving down at this point. Oh, we almost tapped into that. So we're going to close partial positions right over here. We're going to close around 80%. And we're going to leave the rest running at stops at break even. How do you do it so well? It's just waiting for clean ranges. That's it. That's all what we did. In this trade right here, we all just focused on clean ranges. There wasn't a clean range here, there was rejection here, but there was a clean range over here, and that's all what we wanted to do. And since we're taking this on the 4-hour time frames, we're letting the higher time frames run. Basically, that's all what we're doing at this point. So yeah, you're right, Jose. This is the difference between a normal week and the past week. Past week was just crazy, man. Crazy past week. Oh, our position got stopped out over there. That's fine. Oh, wow, look at that rejection. We're rejecting that area so hard. Yeah, it's a crazy rejection over there. See, if we're rejecting, probably we're going to create some sort of a resistance here for price to continue down in the New York session, right? That's something we can anticipate at this point. That price can maybe reject that area and probably start to continue back down again. So we might want to take a look into that and see how we can take that trade. Because if we come back in the range, oh yeah, now we're just gonna, if we come back in the range, then we might start ranging here again, right? So this is where we will follow price action at this point and see what happens. So looking on the 4-hour time frame, the previous 4-hour candle closed bearish, right? Previous 4-hour candle closed bearish. So there's a very high probability that this candle can continue moving down, right? There's a very high probability that that can happen. So if that's going to happen, we need to see some sort of a resistance to be formed. And can we anticipate, if we can get a candle closing below this range, can we anticipate price to continue moving down and without breaking up and keeping the overall 4-hour movement in our mind, right? Perfect. So we're gonna take a look into that over here. Oh, hold on. It's moving way too fast over here. So we're breaking the low on the 15-minute time frame, right? So look, we're breaking the low on the 15-minute time frame, and the 30-minute candle is closing back in the range. So I think this is going to be a pretty good idea over here. We're using like a 26 pip stop. We're going to use 1% risk because we already took a trade, and our TP is probably going to be around down over here as well, 26, like 1 to 1. And we're anticipating the 4-hour candle to continue moving bearish here. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Right, so now we're going in profits here. Oh, beautiful. 13, 14 pips. Looking at the 30-minute time frame, we've broken the low at this point here as well. We're running nice. Oh, we're coming close. Oh, we're rejecting that there a little bit. We are rejecting that area there a little bit. Probably wanna, since we're rejecting, probably gonna, let's just close 50% over here. And let's just see, are we gonna continue moving down or not? Because I want to secure positions at this point. So we're letting the position open and we're letting price do whatever it wants at this point because we've secured positions. Probably want to put stops at break even over here as well. And we're anticipating the 4-hour candle to continue moving bearish. Yeah, and the only reason, so I was gonna say the only reason we're being cautious is because we had a rejection here previously, which is why I was being cautious in taking positions because this rejection, I mean, we still secured positions, but we got stopped out there. It's okay. This has nothing to do with this webinar, but since I started working alone and taking notes about what happened at certain times during simulation, blah, 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 all I gotta do is wait. But now I'm concerned because it looks too easy and I don't know how to take that. You just gotta take it day by day. That's it. Just gotta take it day by day. Don't overtrade. Don't get overconfident, and things are gonna go well. All right. Looks like it's creating a new range. Yes, looks like it. Looks like it's creating a new range between this area and this area down over here. So let's wait to see how this 4-hour candle closes at this point. So we're back in this range over here. And this is where the 4-hour candle has closed. And we can see how it's just ranging at this point now, right? Even if we look on this 4-hour candle, we can see how we're creating support. We kind of like broke below support. We came back in the range. We think that the next 4-hour candle might continue up to fill this wick over here, but we're not sure. Because on the 1-hour time frame, we're still below this range. We're consolidating. 30-minute candle, we're also consolidating over here. So it becomes extremely tricky at this point, right? Yeah, it becomes extremely tricky at this point. So I think one thing we can do at this point is, or one thing we can agree on is that maybe this is our new support at this point right over here. Not this support, but this support right over here, because this is our most recent support over here. And then again, we have our most recent resistance up over here. And if we measure this range, this is like a 34, 35 pip range. So I mean, we'll see if we can get like a bearish confirmation over here for price to continue down or not in this 27 pip range. If it happens, it happens. If not, then we can move on to the next day. But if we want 4-hour candle to continue moving bullish, we want the 4-hour candle to break above this area over here. Well, we want the 30-minute candles to basically break above this area for price to continue up towards, this clean traffic here to the left-hand side. Do we have any news? No, we don't have any news over here. All right. Let's see here what happens. We have the 15-minute candle closing bearish, rejecting this area. Oh, wow, look at this. So clean at this point, right? So clean at this point. 15-minute candle rejection. Once this 15-minute candle breaks the low over there, I think there's a very high probability we can continue down in this range. Can't we all agree on that? I think we all can agree on that because we're getting that massive rejection. Looking at the 30-minute time frame, that would also make sense for price to continue moving down. So this is all about waiting for price to print something that you have seen before. And Kush, you're right. The 4-hour seems like a fake out there, but technically we need these areas to break for price to continue moving up. Perfect. So we're breaking the low over there. I guess we can well, I'm not going to take a trade, but we can anticipate price to continue moving down. And the only reason I'm not going to take a trade is because, it's 4 hours ranging and we're only trading the 4-hour time frames at this point. So, I mean, if it continues down, I guess our visualization was correct. So it should continue down to this area right over here to the support. Just got to let these candles form. All right, this is the NYSE Open. There's a lot of volume at NYSE Open. And just by looking at the 30-minute time frame, I guess we all can agree that there's a high probability it should continue moving down, right? And if there's a high probability it can continue moving down, why aren't we taking a trade? We should be executing over here because, it has to go down. So what we're going to do is, this is going to be for educational purposes here. So looking at the 30-minute time frame, even though our stop is going to be around 32 pips based on a 30-minute time frame, but if you look on the 15-minute time frame, I guess we can have a smaller stop loss, around like 25 or like around 13 pips over there. We can take a sell and anticipate the overall 30-minute candle to continue moving bearish without breaking the high of this 15-minute candle right over there. And if that pushes down to our 1-to-1 risk reward, I think that's going to be a pretty good trade over there. Oh, that's not what we want. We want candle to come down, but if this candle closes bullish, we can close partial positions. There we go. So we're going to close partial positions right over here, close 50% and leave the rest running. Right? Because we want to reduce our risk. So when this candle has closed bullish, there's a risk that price may continue moving up. So without holding the whole position, we're just closing partials to see if we can continue moving down or not. So this candle is about to close, the 30-minute candle, the 15-minute candle is about to close bearish. And if it closes bearish, I think there's an opportunity we can add another position if it lets us. If not, then we're just going to let this position run. The 4-hour candle is coming down to a 4-hour support. It's just so messy over here. I just want to kind of close out this position and move on to the next day. Wouldn't this be relying too slowly on volume? Yes. Yes, this is relying solely on volume here. But yeah, basically shouldn't have taken this trade in the simulation because this wasn't the reason why we started this simulation. So going to put stops at break even over here. Okay, we got stopped out. All right, let's move on to the Asian session here. Okay, look at that. Good idea. We closed everything. All right, so we're going to go towards the Asian session here. Oh my God, we kept falling down over here. All right, let's move on here. Okay, perfect. So let's remove all analysis. Remove this. Remove all lines over here, and we're going to do some fresh analysis over here at this point. Move on to daily. Now the daily candle is bearish, right? If the daily candle is bearish, I think there's a probability for the next daily candle to kind of like wick up and then continue moving down. Can't we all agree on that? That's something we can anticipate happening on this daily candle, for this new daily candle to respect the high of the previous daily candle and then continue moving down. Can't we all expect that? I think we can expect that to happen. But what we want to see is, will this really happen, based on a 4-hour time frame here as well or not? So we got the daily perspective in mind, which is overall bearish, but the only thing we can go off of is what's happening on the 4-hour time frame and the 1-hour time frames, right? So let's take a look on the 1-hour time frame. So what we see here on the 1-hour time frame, would you say this is a trickier than the usual break of support resistance? No, not really. This is based off of the 4-hour time frames here at this point, right? So we're looking at the 1-hour time frame. 1 hour is creating a support. We're creating a resistance over here. And if we break the support, we can probably continue down to this next support. And if there's volume, we can continue down to this next support, which is like 47 pips away. If we break above resistance, we have clean candles going all the way up towards 133,400, which is like 42 pips away. So that's something we can look into. So that's something we will wait for price to break above or break down, and then we can take a trade based on that. All right, looks like we're trying to break up over here. Okay, so let's clone these areas onto the 30-minute time frame here as well, so we have a better idea of what's happening. So clone 1 hour over to the 30-minute. Perfect. So all we need is a break above this area for price to continue up, and then we can say that, okay, the 4 hour can continue all the way up towards this area. Can we all agree on that? That should happen, that's the best thing to happen at this point, for the 4 hour candles to continue up towards this area right over here. If we get a 4 hour candle closing bullish over here. Yeah, I think we can agree on that. I'm going to agree on that. So perfect. So we're going to wait at this point. We're going to wait for a 30-minute candle to close bullish. 30-minute candle has closed. 30-minute candle has closed bullish. And I think since the 30-minute candle is closing bullish, this is going to be a pretty good indication for price to potentially move up. But the only problem I see is that, yeah, there's a bit of a rejection there. It's closing with a bit of a rejection. So I'm not sure. Yeah, there's a bit of a, because the 1 hour candle is still open at this point. Now the 1 hour candle is closing back in the range, so we gotta wait over here. Especially we gotta wait for the 4 hour candle to close at this point. Because if we can get a 4 hour candle closing bullish, then there's a very high probability price can continue moving up. This is taking a long time, a very, very long time. We're back at that support now. See, if you're working, you're just waiting for this candle to close. Let's move on to the next 30-minute candle. Now we got just one 30-minute candle to close. There we go. This is the 4 hour candle closing at this point. So I think there's a very high probability for the next 4 hour candle to continue moving bullish. If it breaks the high, yeah, you can wait for it to break the high. But I think this is where, I've taken trades in the past where I've put my stops below the 4 hour candle and expected price to continue moving up. And I've just went to bed at that point, right? Let's just do that over here. So we're going to put our stops around 26 pips. 26 pips. We're targeting right up over here around 37, 38 pips. Let's do it like 37 pips, right? 37 pips. We're using a 2% risk, and every hour we're going to try to see if we can manage risk there or not. With us using high time frame, we don't be concerned about the retest. No, this is only based off of the 4 hour time frame. That's it. So we're going to take a buy over here. Our stops are below this. Okay, let me just modify these stops over here. Our stops are at this point, and we're going to bed at this point, right? So Raja Banks has gone to bed at this point, and we're letting the whole trade run. So Raja Banks is in bed at this point. So we're going to speed it up here a little bit. See, the 1 hour hasn't even passed yet at this point. So this is where you're not even looking at the trades, right? You're not looking at the trades. It's overnight. It's over the Asian session. It's moving through the London session. We're coming down, that's fine. We're going to keep an eye on the 1 hour time frames. That's totally okay. Because we're only taking it based off of the 4 hour time frame at this point. So now this is the time for me to go to bed over here in real time. Slowly we're going to move on to the London session, and then we're going to see how the London session reacts to this. And probably sometime, I'm going to be waking up in the middle of the night to see how price is moving. So perfect. Candles have closed bearish. 4 hour candle has closed bearish here. And looking at the 1 hour time frame, 1 hour candle is also closing bearish at this point. So probably want to close partial positions over here, right? Because now I see that there's some sort of it may not seem like the best idea to hold the full position, especially when we're getting this resistance form, all this consolidation happening, 4-hour candles closing bearish, so we don't know whether it's going to go down, it's going to go up. Looking at the daily time frame, daily also seems like it can continue down. So rather than closing the entire position, when you're uncertain, it's always a good idea to close a partial position. Move the stop below the previous 4-hour candle. No, that's not going to be a good idea, because if you're looking for buys, you're only moving stops below bullish candles, not below bearish candles. You're moving stops below bullish candles if you're looking for buys. So that's why we're going to keep our stop where it is, because we already secured positions. So closed partials and now letting the rest run throughout the London session at this point. Man, swing trading is hard because you're looking at all time frames, the 30-minute time frames, 1-hour time frames. So at this point, even though we've secured positions, now we're not concerned about price coming down to stop us out or whatever, because we've already secured positions. So if this now breaks the low of the 4-hour candle, see, it's breaking the low of the 4-hour candle. So at this point, we're going to close another 50% at this point. There we go. But we're keeping our original stop loss. We're not moving that. We're keeping our original stop loss. And now we're just letting it run based on the 4-hour. Swing trading is extremely hard. When I was swinging, I would look at my phone every 5 minutes. Yeah, that's the problem. Like when you're swing trading, you're looking at every 15 minutes, 5 minutes. Yeah, no. You gotta look at it every 1 hour or 30 minutes. Oh, nice. Look at that. Oh, wow. Very nice. Beautiful. See, in this trade, we managed risk twice. And still we had we still had a bit of an issue over here. So let's take a look on the daily here. Let's see what daily is doing. So daily is still respecting the high over there. It hasn't really broken the high over there. Looking on the 4-hour, 4 hours coming up to that rejection area we had previously. Remember this area here? Strong rejection area over here. So what I'm looking to see over here now, see, we got this good trade. Are we going to start rejecting this area or not? Looking on the 4-hour time frame, 4-hour candles are still bullish over here. One candle closed bullish. Looking on the 1-hour time frame, 1-hour candles closed bearish there. 30-minute candle has closed bearish there. So I guess for price to go down, we would need some sort of a support to form, because then if we can break the support, then we can continue moving down, right? But at this stage, there's nothing at this stage over here. Yeah, we're still at this rejection point. We're not getting any supports formed at this point. We have one candle moving up. Oh, perfect. Now we have a support formed over here. See this? Now we have a support formed over here. So if we're looking for sells in this clean range, we're looking for a support to form, and we have the support formed. So now all we got to do is wait for price to either break above this resistance or break below the support to continue down. That's all what we're looking for at this point. So either we can get a candle closing bullish to take buys, or we can get a candle breaking the support to take sells. Remember, I said candle closing bullish above this area to take buys. Not impulse entries, but candle closing bullish. So see this? We closed a doji candle. Oh, looks like we're coming down over here. If we start breaking below the low, let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame. We still got that low over there. Looking at the 1-hour time frame, looking at the 30-minute time frame. Yeah, so we'll need this 30-minute candle to close bearish to take a sell. This is about to close in 3, 2, 1. Perfect. The 30-minute candle has closed bearish at this point. Looking on the 4-hour time frame, 4 hours also trying to reject. Looking at the 1-hour time frame, 1-hour candle has also closed bearish. This is a New York open. So let's keep some things in perspective at this point, right? I know during this simulation there has been a lot of information, but we're going to keep a few things in perspective at this point. Candle is closing bearish at support, right? We are at, what's this question over here? I'm not going to read that question right now. We are at New York Open, which has a lot of volume at this point. So we need price to kind of like break below the support for price to continue moving down. We cannot take a sell at this point, even though we can with the, so that's going to be pretty risky, right? But the whole problem is that the 15-minute candle has closed bearish over here, bullish here. So we need some sort of a confidence here on the 15-minute time frame that we're going to continue moving down to take the sell. Do we wait for the bullish candle to close above wick on the left candle? Yes. Yes, yes. So right now, there are no sells at this point. The only sell is going to be if we start breaking below the 15-minute support. And candles are moving. 30-minute candle has closed. 30-minute candle has closed bullish. We're still waiting. Let's keep an eye on the 30-minute candle over here, because if we start breaking the low over here, which is also going to be the breaking of the low in the 15-minute time frame, I think there's going to be an opportunity for price to continue moving bearish. But we really need price to continue down to break the lows. All right, so let's take a look on the 4 hour. 4 hour is still bearish. 1 hour is still bearish. 30-minute candle is now trying to come down. So looking at the 30-minute candle, I remember we talked about taking impulse entries once we're breaking the low on the bearish candle. But looking on the 1 hour candle, it just seems like there's a high probability it can continue down to fill this wick and then continue on further down, right? So notice how we waited. We waited for candles to like kind of like close bearish. This is the start of the New York Open. You know, so we had bullish candle, bullish candle, bullish candle, one bearish candle forming now, another bearish candle forming now. It's above support, but we're looking at the 1 hour time frame. We're anticipating this candles to continue moving down now because we're rejecting this area here to the left hand side. So if we look for a stop loss, I think a stop loss is going to be above this 1 hour candle, which is like 26 pips away. But if you look on the smaller time frames, I think we can get away. No, we can't get away. But it rejected twice to the left. Yes, it rejected twice to the left. So you have to ask yourself now, since there's volume in the market right now, where will price go? What's the probability where price will move at this point? That's what we're looking at. So we're not going to take a trade at this point. We're only going to anticipate where we can see price moving. And I think we can continue moving bearish over here based on the 1 hour time frame too, because, you know, we got to fill that wick on the 1 hour time frame. This candle is about to close. Candle has closed. So now see, now there's a very high probability we're going to continue moving down. Let's take a look on the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour candle has also closed bearish. The new 4 hour candle is starting at this point. So if we just look at this, it just seems like there's a very high probability we're going to continue moving down. Looking at 30-minute, looking at the 1 hour. Awesome, perfect. So we can take a sell over here. Probably going to keep our stops at around 20 pips. And yeah, we're going to leave the rest running. Keep it like 20 pips and put our TP at around, let's say our TP should be down over here around 20, 22, 23 pips. So we're going to put it at like 23 pips. We're going to take a sell. And yeah, let's take a look at the daily candle. Daily candle has also made a high at the top. So we don't know whether daily candles are going to continue moving down or not. But we do know is that the 4 hour now has a higher probability to continue moving bearish. Also on the 1 hour, we have confirmation. We have confirmation on a 30-minute here as well. So we have overwhelming confirmations that price should continue moving bearish, especially with this new 4 hour candle forming. So we're taking this trade based on the 4 hour candle to continue bearish. That's it. Also because, you know, obviously we've broken below the support on 30-minute time. Oh, hold on. Way too fast over here. So we're probably going to secure positions over here. Oh, okay, I had this way too fast. So probably going to close 80% at this point. Close 80%, put stops at break even, and yeah, let the rest run. We had take profit, continued moving further down. Oh, nice. Right? So we waited. We waited We waited, 4-hour candle closed bearish. We took a sell based on the 4-hour candle closing bearish. Ironically, we also had confirmations on the 30-minute at that point. We closed below support. So you see how we waited for the 30-minute candle and the 1-hour candle and the 4-hour candle to align with our bias. And once they aligned with our bias, we executed the trade and it went exactly how it was supposed to go. I mean, there was no confusion on this at all. Could a second position be entered once we broke the low? Probably not, because we're only focused on the higher time frames here, the 4-hour, the 1-hour. So on that instance, I don't think so. No. Hello, I'm late. Oh, welcome. Welcome. All right, perfect. Played out really, really well over here. So let's take a look on the daily candle. Daily candle is also coming down. So this is where I'm going to end the simulation, but I'm going to forward the candles because I want to see if the daily candle actually does continue down or not. How much was the capital? The capital was around 5,000. So we did around 10% this week. So let's forward the candles here with the daily close. The day has closed. Oh. Let's take a look here now. Let's take a look on the 4-hour candles here now. So we're slowly trying to come down. Oh, nice. So I guess the next daily candle continued moving bearish. Okay, made sense. The daily candle broke the low. If the stop was kept above the daily candle, all the range continued down. It made sense here, technically. See how the candle patterns, they also work on the daily time frame here as well. You know, we had candle closing bullish over here. Next daily candle broke the low, clean traffic to the left hand side, and just went straight down. You know, just on the daily candle. So all these candle patterns, once you start looking at the daily candle patterns, the 4-hour candle patterns, you're going to see that these confirmations, they happen at all time frames, except for the 15-minute time frame, because you know sometimes the 15-minute is a weak confirmation time frame, but overwhelmingly is going to happen on the 30-minute time frame, the 1-hour time frame, 4-hour time frame, daily time frames, you know, sometimes on the weekly time frames there as well. You know, so that's what we did here today. We attempted to do swing trades. I think maximum we went up to like 50, 60 pips. Most of the times our runners got stopped out, right? But we tried our best over here. So hope this made sense. There was a lot of information involved, so I think watching this again is going to help you out a lot. So thank you everyone for joining in. Hope we all had fun here. Let's see here. Oh yes. Let's see the stats over here. Yeah, let's see the stats. We're gonna look at the stats over here. So we had 1, 2 losses, 3, 4, 5. We had 5 losses over here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 wins over here. So this includes closing positions, you know, this includes like partial profits and this and that. So if you look at the history right over here of closed trades, so these were the closed trades, statistics. Oh, nice. Gross profit was $700. Realized was $500. Gross loss was negative 180. Graph, pretty nice, moving up. So I think all in all, we did 10%. Started with the $5,000 balance and ended it with around $500 profit for the week over here. Pretty good, pretty good. You can share the next time someone in the Gulag asks, what does risk management mean? Yeah. All right, everyone, take care, and we'll see you Monday morning. Oh, by the way, this is going to be in the database in about 4 hours, so you can check it out.